Portland State University awards honorary degrees to acknowledge individuals who have achieved outstanding scholarship or artistic accomplishments or performed distinguished public service during their lifetime. It's my great pleasure today to present an honorary doctoral degree of humane letters to social entrepreneur and community leader, Callie Thorne Ladd. Ms. Thorne Ladd received her bachelor's degree in elementary education and psychology from Boston College and earned a master's degree in education policy from Harvard University. Ms. Thorne Ladd has made exceptional contributions to Portland and the state of Oregon as an advocate for equity and educational transformation. A former teacher and education director for former Mayor Sam Adams, Ms. Thorne Ladd is the co-founder of KairosPDX, a nonprofit dedicated to closing opportunity achievement gaps for historically marginalized children. She served 7 years on the Portland Community College Board of Directors and is its immediate past chair. A community leader, Ms. Thorne Ladd was appointed by Governor Kate Brown to the Early Learning Council of Oregon. She serves on the Metro Leadership Council of the Oregon Community Foundation and on the James F. and Marion L. Miller Foundation Board.
Congratulations, class of 2021. I hope you can feel your strength and resiliency and power as you emerge out of a year that none of us could ever have conceived. A year ripe with pandemic and racial reconciliation, protests that are historic, where Portland was on the news throughout the nation, and a realization that the world that we knew is not the world that we should be and could be. A recognition that transformation is necessary for us to be our best selves. All of you hold within the palm of your hand the opportunity to bring us into this new reality. You are history makers, change makers, and leaders for our future that is yet to be decided. And as I said, yet to be imagined. And you have an opportunity, unlike any generation or any class before you, to do things radically different. And I believe that you can and you will. My name is Callie Thorne Ladd. I'm co-founder of KairosPDX. It's an honor to be able to speak to you today. Kairos is an organization that is focused on disrupting the educational space to center the humanity of children and how we do teaching and learning. Centering humanity matters no matter what sector you find yourself in, no matter what space you lead in. Centering humanity is this idea of Ubuntu. I am who I am because of who we all are. It is the belief that we are all connected with one another and that my power and strength enhances yours, but my tragedy and pain also can be felt by you, that you will feel, whether you know it or not, the pain and the hardship and the inequity that I face. And so as we build our futures, as we think about our businesses, our nonprofit businesses, if you are a founder, an entrepreneur that wants to create your own space, this has to be an important feature. And this matters. The humanity of others matters not just because it's what makes us feel good, but it's what enables us to think best, do best, perform best, be impactful and efficient, to lead best. Neuroscience actually tells us that our brains are wired in such a way that we are always looking to be safe, that our brains are wired to protect us. And so in any environment that we enter ourselves in, any place that we find ourselves, we are automatically scanning around to see, am I safe? Am I okay? When we do not feel safe, it sends a signal to our brain that triggers the amygdala to do the fight, or fear response. Fight, flight, or freeze response. And when we fight, flight, or freeze, when our amygdala sets off, it lets off hormones like cortisol that actually shuts down our brain. It shuts down the neural connections between our prefrontal cortex and our hippocampus. The hippocampus is where our memory is stored. The prefrontal cortex is a part of the brain that we use most. It is what we use for impulse control, decision-making, discernment, higher order critical thinking skills. So you see, when our humanity is not seen, the parts of our brain that need to be optimal for us to lead best don't actually work. They don't actually function. But when we feel seen and valued, our brains are able to work optimally. The opposite takes place. It triggers hormones like dopamine and oxytocin that helps us feel connected with one another, that helps our prefrontal cortex operate well so that we can make better decisions, that we have better discernment, that we think critically, that we can remember things better, that we learn better, and ultimately we lead better. So as you go off into the world today, reimagining, transforming systems and institutions that for a long time have needed to change, I hope if you do nothing else, that you center the humanity of those around you, that you recognize that we are wired for this. This is not a nice to have, it's a need to have. And if we are going to be better in the future than we have been in the past, we need to lead differently. We need to center the humanity of one another, see one another, value one another, understand the ways that you make others feel invisible, undervalued, and recognize that when you change those things within your company or organization, you change the performance, you change the impact, you change the effectiveness and efficiency of every single employee on your team or in your workplace. And when you do that, you really can begin to build the change and transformation that all of us are desperate for. You really can lead us into a future where we value each other, where we listen to one another, and where we have institutions that can create the kind of change where all of our communities thrive. I believe it's possible. I believe you have it in you. I believe this year built within you the resiliency and roadmap to do just that. So go forth. Best of luck. And it's a pleasure to talk with you today.